and you talk about culture, how do you feel about the rest of your roster? If Zion's the face of your franchise, it certainly sounds like you are in it to win it right now with the age and the players you have. Is that how you feel? Because some people want to say, is it a rebuild? What is he doing out there? But if you've designated Zion, is it fair to say that this is a team that expects to compete right now with the players they have?
Another phrase I'll give you, Fletcher, is you're always in a build in the NBA. You're never not in a build. Now, whether it's a rebuild, that's different. But you're always in a build. Even teams that are playing right now are on the phone talking with other teams about what they want to do in the summertime. I'm talking about right now, Fletcher, the 2 teams that are in there, the 4 teams that have just been in there. You're never not building. And so when people say rebuild, it's just like, okay, maybe we're starting over. But you're always in a build. We are always in a build. Here's the other thing I'll say to you, specifically to your question about the other guys. We get a ton of calls every day since I've been here for 6 weeks on at least 4 or 5 other players on the roster. Like teams around the league, like, you know, they really value these guys. It's great for me to know that we have guys here that are valued around the league by other teams. That's important for me to know who's in when I was talking about who's in the building, it's stuff like that. It's when you're talking to the other 29 teams and they constantly mention the same 4 or 5 guys, like, we really love that guy on your roster. We love this guy on your roster. That's great for me to know who's in the building. Know you have value with players here in this building.
Had the 2nd worst season in franchise history. Your starting point guard is going to miss some time to start the season next year. Just what are the goals for coming into next season? Are you trying to push this team back into the playoffs, or is there perhaps a longer, more patient approach there?
So you build a culture where every game your team thinks that you can win every game. That you never walk on the court and think there's no chance for us to win. And so when you do that, the results will come from that. But to put something on the wall right here and now and say, well, we want to do this, right? That doesn't matter what you put on the wall. It's what you build on the ground first. So my focus will be just what we're building here. And as we build that, the results will come from that. And so you won't hear me make any predictions about we're going to do this. You don't do that. That's not what winning is. Like, you can go to any winning team, NFL, NBA, wherever, all 30 NBA teams, the really, really good teams, you'll never see them talking about that. What they will talk about is what we do every day, what we do every single day to be great. And I think that more than anything else is what we want to do here. We want to build every day on just being great every day. And I promise you, the results will show on the floor.
In a pick that's like top 3 or 4 outside of just getting like the right person in the building.
Listen, I think whether it's the top 4 pick or whether it's the 50th pick, the approach that guys take to this is like, look, you're not going to be successful just with talent alone. Like, there are some intangibles that you have to have. Like, you have to have, like, you got to want to be great. Like, every player in the NBA is not striving to be just great. And so you gotta figure that out. Like, does this guy really want to be great? You got to have the intangibles. Is he a worker? Is he going to show up? Does he have toughness? You know, all of those intangible things, besides he can run fast, he can jump high, he can shoot the ball. Once you get past that, I can see that. Anybody in here can see that. What you don't know is what's here. Like, does this guy have it? And so that's the part that you have to put tremendous amount of emphasis in with your staff to dig in to find out, what's this guy made of? Like, does this guy really want to be great? Is he going to come here and be a part of the culture here? Is he going to buy in? Those are the things for me, whether it's the draft, free agency, trade. Those are things I want to know more than anything else. And with all of my staffs, I've always said that. Like, look, here's the thing, I'll just say this. Whether you draft a player, sign a free agent, or make a trade for a guy, there's 2 people walking in that building. There's the player and the person. You better know who the person is. Because the player can walk in there and look beautiful, but the person may not be the right person for your building. And so for me, I always put a tremendous emphasis on who's the person. I can see the talent, but I need to know who the person is. So we'll do that here. We'll put a tremendous amount of emphasis on the person and not just the beautiful talent that you can see with your own eyes.
Good about the night. Actually, we really feel good about the last 48 hours, to tell you the truth. Look, one of the things you want to do is when you're building out a team is whenever you have these tentpole moments, draft, free agency, trade deadline, it's an opportunity for you to make a statement about who you are as a team, what you're going to be, really to define yourself. And so with the last 48 hours, we're really just trying to define who we are and the type of players we want to bring in. These two young guys tonight, it's crazy because we felt like we were going to have to choose between these two guys the entire night. And so to end up getting both of them was just really exciting for us. We thought there was a chance that we could end up getting both of them, but you never can tell with so many teams are moving around. So very happy tonight, very happy to have these two young men, and we think that they're going to be great additions to the Pelicans. So I'll open it up. It could have been the small forwards, and if they are the type that can attack, you would have seen two of them coming here now.
You talk about winning in this league being more than just talent alone, but
Yep.
having guys who have intangibles,
Yep.
people who are culture builders. Just
Yep.
the acquisitions over the last 48 hours, how does that speak to that vision of yours?
So I can tell you this. So we make the deal. When did we make the trade? Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. So I'm on the phone with Jordan Poole first. I'm on the phone with Sadiq first and with Poole second. And as I'm talking to him, they were like, man, Jody, thank you, man, for bringing me to New Orleans, man. I appreciate it. I won't let you down. I won't let you down. Here's the thing. Those are the best trade calls you can get. The worst thing you can do is trade for somebody and then have to try to convince them that they want to be here. Before I could even say it, those guys, both of them, I'm telling you, man, both of them were like, man, I so appreciate you bringing me, man. You won't regret it. And Poole said on the phone, as I was talking to him, he said, listen, whatever you guys ask me to do, I'm going to do. Like, I'm not coming there, whatever it takes to win, I'm going to do. So those are the best calls you can get. So when you talk about culture building, those are the type of guys you want in your building that's coming in and saying, whatever you need me to do, man, I'm there. And so it was a great call from two guys who played in this league already. And then the young guys, they were both just super excited tonight. Two young kids, on the phone. I FaceTimed with both of them. They were super excited, man, just super happy to come. Look, last week when Fears was here, and Queen was here a few days before, I was out to dinner with Queen the first time and Fears the second time, and both of them were like, man, please bring me here. Please draft me, man. Like, both of them were like, draft. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm going to the draft tonight. I'm like, man, which one of these guys, what am I going to do? And so, And so, you start talking about culture and environment, the first thing is you got to have guys who want to be in the building. And so that's what we have now with these four guys.
John,
You said that he and
Not necessarily like that, but what I did think was that if we're going to have a chance to make a move up, we need another asset. And so let's go ahead and get this asset now. Now look, when you do that, here's what you have to know. If you get stuck at 23, you better have a handful of guys you like there. And we did. And we were just watching the board and watching who was going off, and we were like, yeah, we would have got one of those guys. So we liked the guys at 23, but yeah, sometimes when I got here, we had just the 7th pick, right? And so I'm like, we don't have enough assets to move around during the draft. So yeah, we had to get that asset, put it into this draft, and hope that we had a chance to do what we did tonight.
could you describe the risk-reward calculation that went into what you gave up next year for their?
Yeah. So when you have a chance to get 2 lottery picks in one draft, you're accounting for the following year, really, when you get 2 in one draft. And so that's the first thing you calculate. And then secondly, look, these deals, after we drafted 7, we started from 9 and went all the way until we got a deal. And you don't pull the trigger on the asset next year until you get that deal. Otherwise, you keep it. But here's what I've said to the staff. When you identify a player that you think this can be one of the foundations here, you go and get him. And that's what we did. I mean, like we targeted Queen. We thought he could be a heck of an addition here. And we were really aggressive about going and getting him in this draft.
What else was it about his game that made you really, confident that he fit in with what y'all do in the system and whatnot?
So I've said, obviously I like tough guys. I like that aggressive tough guy. But you got to have an IQ. You can't just be tough and nothing else. And I put his IQ in the game up against anybody in this draft. Like, this is a super, super high IQ guy, finds people, has the mentality of a guard, will push it up. He's just got unique skills for a 6'10" kid. And that really appealed to me, to have someone on the court like that. Look, you call those guys connectors. They can connect everybody on the court with the way they play. Super unselfish. You win with guys like that.
What's the biggest thing that stands out about Jeremiah Fears, about his game?
Man,
his personality?
just, first of all, I love the confidence that he has. I spent time with him in Chicago at the pre-draft camp. I spent time with him here a week or so ago when he came in town. Super confident, but not arrogant, not cocky. Like, and look, you need some of that to be good in this league. Like, you got to think, yeah, I'm him. You know what I mean? And so he does. And I like that about him, but I like his skill set. Just the ability to get anywhere on the court like that is a unique ability. And one of the things I say to the staff all the time is, like, guys, if you're going to be a really, really good team, you have to have guys who can compromise the other team's defense. You have to have guys who can compromise other. If you look at any of the good teams, Shea, Halliburton, all these guys, and they have multiple guys that can compromise your defense. And so that's what Jordan Poole can do. That's what Zion can do. Now that's what Fears can do. That's what Queen can do. These guys can compromise the defense, and when you do that, you got a chance. You got a real chance.
And with Jeremiah and the trade yesterday, obviously you're addressing the point guard position. How important was that for you, and what do you want to kind of see from that position going forward?
You know what? For me, it's people who can attack. So, as you know, if you're playing against Denver, it's Jokic that's attacking you and compromising your defense. If you play against Luka, whoever, right? So I just wanted guys who can attack the other team. You can't have – it's hard to win when you just got one guy that can compromise the other team's defense. You have to have if you look around the league now, you better have multiple guys that can attack, and you're not looking for one guy to do that night after night after night. You don't want to do that. You don't. That's a hard way to live. And so, for me, it wasn't necessarily the point guards. It just happened to be those positions. It could have been the small forwards, and if they are the type that can attack, you would have seen two of them coming here now.
You talk about winning in this league being more than just talent alone, but
Yep.
having guys who have intangibles,
Yep.
people who are culture builders. Just
Yep.
the acquisition over the last 48 hours, how does that speak to that vision of yours?
So I can tell you this. So we make the deal. When did we make the trade? Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Worry about who they're going to fit with. The profile is what makes them fit with everybody. So you don't have to go like, oh, okay, who can fit with that? No, get high character, smart, tough guys who just want to win in a big way. That's how you end up winning rings and being in the finals. I'm telling you, you have to have those type of guys. And so that's what I'm focused on more than do they fit with this guy or that guy. That's a little short-sighted for me, from my vantage point anyway.
And you talk about in today's NBA the importance of having multiple ball handlers. Something else we're seeing today a lot is teams going double bigs.
Yep.
How much do you kind of see Derek fitting into that?
Oh, absolutely. We talked about that a lot, man, about him and Misi and Carlo, and it's imperative now that you have to have bigs. And I'm not even sure we're done adding bigs because you need big bodies now. You look at any of these teams right now; they're running two bigs out there, and if you can't match up, you're in trouble. And so, we want to make sure that that's a strong suit for us as well.
Joe, when you look at this roster, the oldest player, I think, is DeJounte at age 29. Do you feel like this roster needs a veteran or two?
we just need to keep adding high character guys. Some bad veterans too now. So you know what I mean. So, and some great young guys. And so for me, that character is going to supersede everything else. And look, people misconstrue what character is. Character to me is the unselfish guy who's great teammates. I played with some characters, man, but they were great teammates, and it was all about winning. And people look at the wild stuff and go, "What kind of guy?" No, they're incredible teammates, super dedicated to winning. That's what I'm looking for more than if he's an older guy, younger guy. You can bring the wrong guy in your locker room who's 30 plus. You got a problem.
Joe, what's the rehab process on DeJounte?
Yeah, so every Monday I'm meeting with the medical staff, updating on all of these guys, Herb, Trey, DeJounte, and so just on top of it, like the rehab. Matter of fact, DeJounte just called me maybe 30, 40 minutes ago. Hey, Joe D, can I get Fears and Queen's phone number, man? So this is a guy that's all in. And, every time I talk to DeJounte, he's like, Joe, I'm 6 days a week. And he is, because we have one of our people out with him in Vegas where he is in the summer. And we've sent somebody out there to be with him and his rehab team to make sure that we're on top of it.
Will his recovery timeline in any way influence what you expect early on from Jeremiah?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Will DeJounte's recovery timeline influence potentially Jeremiah's exposure to playing time early in the season or not?
Not really. If DeJounte was healthy, we still would have gone into this the same way. It's just about adding the pieces that you think can impact the game. But look, we're going to have some really good players around Jeremiah, so he's not going to have to go out there and carry this unbearable load on his shoulders. When he gets on the court, he's going to be surrounded by guys who've played in this league and know how to play, man.
I guess what I was saying is if DeJounte is not ready to go when the season starts,
Yeah.
do you envision Jeremiah starting?
I won't get into if he's starting or not. I mean, training camp, summer league, I don't know yet about that. But, we love the talent. We love his, we love his makeup of who he is, and we'll put him out there. And look, one thing that I never do with my coaches or anyone else is put limitations on, well, we have to take it. Look, let's find out where he is. And if he's ready to go, let's go with him. If not, we have enough depth that we don't have to expose him to that early on.
And how did you feel when you kind of saw DeJounte's recent comments about his experience last year with the team?
Yeah.
Some of the stuff going on behind
Yeah,
the scenes.
he and I had a really good conversation. We talked the next morning about that, and I talked to him about it, tell me what's happening, and we had a good long talk about it. Okay, won't be a problem this year coming up, DeJounte. We had a really good conversation about it, and sometimes when stuff like this happens, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to get better as an organization. And I call the medical staff in, say, let's talk about DeJounte's interview, and what part of this can we get better at? So when stuff like that happens, I've been in the league long enough to know, you don't bury your head, you tack it head on. Okay, hey, DeJounte, talk to me, what's happening? Medical staff, talk to me, what's going on? Why is he saying this? I mean, you just deal with it head on. You don't duck it, you don't run from it.
You said this draft was, in these tentpole moments about making a statement about who you are. Who do you think the Pelicans are, or who do you want them to be? What do you think that statement you made today was?
Same thing, aggressive team. We're going to be aggressive in this front office. We're going to be aggressive. We want our players to be aggressive. We want our approach to be aggressive. We want to show up. We're going to show up for the run. And so,